Hello, I am Miss Curia of House Education and the Treasure Chest Club. Today we're talking about books, specifically junior chapter books, those young chapter books, and how first, don't judge a book by a cover. Second, don't judge a book by how many chapters it has or word count. So we're going to take these two. These two are technically two different levels because this one is 590L and this one is a 520L. Now, rating systems for books is complicated, very complicated, and not one is the same. You have some that are made for the school systems, and those rating systems take the books, they read the books, they make the comprehension stuff, and they give the books a rating based on their criteria as to what makes it a difficult reader or not so difficult. Then you have other rating systems like the ones from the publishers themselves. Now, these days we're getting further away from actually having rating systems, and instead they're giving age ranges. And some of those age ranges are just not appropriate and not matching. Just because an 8-year-old can read the entire Harry Potter series does not mean they should read it. And it doesn't mean they understand all of the difficult words in it. And they definitely don't comprehend the complexity of the story. But that's another video. Let's talk about why these two books, this one being rated higher than this one, is inaccurate. So I have my highlighters. I have marked my books. I keep a journal on my books as well about all the words that are in them. And I kind of have my own ranking system based on my experience with my students. Now, I recommend all parents, at least before purchasing the book, look over the book carefully to see if these books are introducing too many new words, because that can be overwhelming, especially if you're giving it to your student, your child, to read independently. If you're reading together, that's a whole different story. And I highly recommend that you continue to read throughout your child's lifetime together, sometimes side by side, where you are sharing the same book and reading it and doing take turn reading, or you are listening to them read out loud, or they are listening to you read out loud. But when you get into the older grades, I do recommend that you both are reading the book. So that means 2 copies, or somebody's doing an audiobook, something like that. But in this case, you want to look it over. Now, again, this one is rated higher. It's 590, and this one's a 520. They both have approximately 3,000 words. This one has about 118 words on a page, but because of its font size, you will see that the book is just about the same size, but the thickness on this one is a little bit more than this one. So there's some differences there, but the font size is really large. I don't even need my readers for this one. So that's going to impact your reader success. Now, that's 118 is an average per page. I'd say it's still probably, because some pages are long like this, but it's probably still around the same as this one, which is 80 words per page, approximately. The font size is smaller. There's a little bit less artwork, though there are some very full spread pictures. But you can see like this page definitely has a lot more, but the font point size is just a smidge smaller. Makes a difference. But those aren't the only criteria to look at. We need to look at vocabulary. Now, I highlight in my yellow compound words. Compound words are something that a first grader or second grader, depending on where you're at, is learning. Some first graders are learning compound words towards the end of the school year, but most are not. So both book series have a lot of compound words. This one actually has more than the other one. My blue, it's my more difficult words. These are the words they're going to need help not only reading the word, but understanding the word, which is huge. And purple are more, sound words or pretend words, made up words. This book series has many more than this one does. Now we can go straight into it, and we've got a few blammo, like not a word that a child normally hears often. So when they sound it out, because when you're at this stage, you're still sounding words in your head, it's not familiar. They're not going to know what it sounds like or what it even means. And this is where it's helpful for a parent to be reading along with them, because I have had students say that is the name of a character. Toothbrush, hallway, great compound words. Then we get apologized. That's a little more difficult. Definitely, we're going to need some help reading that word. If we read that whole sentence, Henry blank, sorry sis, context, a student or a child reading it may understand the word is apologized, but maybe not. So it's really important to remember that your student or your child is typically going to skip that word. Grumposaurus, I love it. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. Complicated, pancakes. Okay, so if we're skipping words, smoothies. Oh, not complicated. See, I did exactly what some students do. I looked at several letters and made an assumption. And this is what happens. And they do it when they write their trivia questions, which makes it really difficult. And again, I'm not perfect. They're not perfect. You're not perfect. But we have to help them by slowing things down and helping them realize that they could be making a mistake. Smoothies, she blanked. I wanted pancakes. Can we even get context there to say that that word is complained? Now, regular. Oh, that was a word that was tough for me as a kid. Henry and Dad were blank everyday people, and Henry was fine with that. There's no context. So when we skip that word that we don't know, we have no idea what that means. Now, the point to that actually is that Heidi and her mom are witches, and Henry and his dad are not. They are regular. So skipping words is going to have them missing some of the main ideas of the story, which is really important and really sad. So we do need to help them with that. But some of those words were not super tough. And we can go through, let's see, anywhere, anything, straight. That's a tough word. That GHT situation there. Baseball, pigtails. I mean, like, I'm not coming up with a lot of hard words here. So I don't think its score is worth the 590 it is. Ingredients together, medallion, tablespoon, teaspoon, bookshelf, magnifying glass, private, detective, rainbow. Not really tough. We get into this one. This one's got some tough words. But it does start off pretty easy. Now, one of the things I do like about this one is that it's a little more sprinkled through. Discovered, old-fashioned. Now, that the fashioned part, that's going to be the tough one. Janitor. Janitor's a tough one. Kiddos have a hard time with that one. Mustache. Those are some tough words. Mustache, we definitely need to help them define between beard and mustache. So that's a challenge just on that. The janitor in the story, it does explain what that is. So that's really helpful, but pronouncing the word, they need a little help with that. Backyard, gurgling. It's a tough word. You can see there's quite a bit here. It's quite a bit in comparison to this, which was one every few pages. So this page has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 possible words. Oh, I didn't put statue. Statue, a tough word. 4 of them are compound, but we have concrete, thermometer, mistress, disappear, and as I just added, statue. Those are all really tough words. How is this a lower level? Ventriloquist. Took me years, just like the word spaghetti. Took me years to learn how to say. I still can't spell it. Intelligent, like if I was to write it. Intelligent. I'd have to look it up. Auto check would not get me on that one because it wouldn't know what I was trying to type. Capable. Oh, that's another one of those. Doorway. Tablecloth, scamper, railroad, consonant. Oh, I need a drink. I love the alliteration in here. But we do have some tough words there. Symbols appeared, farsighted, gingerbread specifically. That's a tough word to say. I get usually Pacific from the kiddos. Babysitter. What's this one? Molasses. It's something, again, they wouldn't know necessarily what it is. Ticklish. Now, they might not need the explanation, but to read it, they might. Sanitary. Ginger blobs. Kind of a made-up word. Entertained, applauded, continually. Like, it's full of tough words. So definitely the score system on them is not accurate. I recommend definitely first and second grade. Some kinders could read it. I think this one's a little bit easier because the font size. Stories are different, though they both have magic and they both are about children. But this one has, some magical animals in there because they talk and do human stuff. The personification is like heavy in this one. So there's still a lot of differences here. But this book that was rated easier is actually the harder book. And again, when you're looking at it, this looks thicker, just a smidge thicker. Now this, I bet you if this was in paperback, it would look even skinnier. So for the families that typically judge books by page count and by word count and how many chapters are in it and how thick it is, those are all things that you should just throw away that thought process. But I know a lot of them do it. Open the books and look at them first, and then help your kiddo read it. If you have a book that you would like me to review or compare some books, let me know. I would love to do some more of those kind of videos. And I look forward to seeing you all over on Instagram at the Treasure Chest Club, where we go behind the scenes and check out the club activities. Bye for now.